Okay, so we're going to begin making a cupcake still life today, and we're going to do it on black paper. Alright, now I'm going to use a pencil. I can see a pencil on black paper. And I'm going to take the bottom, go to the top, and I'm just going to give it a little pinch fold right there. That shows me where halfway is, okay? So, a little above halfway, just a little above it, you want to draw a little zigzag line. Okay, and you want it to be centered, so you want the same amount of space on the left as on the right, okay? Alright, then you're going to come down, you're going to diagonal this line a little bit, and you're going to diagonal this line a little bit, but not too much. And you're going to make them connect. Okay, and now you're going to begin making the top part of your cupcake. So this can change. I'm just going to show you how I do mine. So I'm going to curve up, bring this line down, and meet, and I'm not going to connect those. Okay, and then I'm going to make another one coming up. And then I'll do one final one here and have that kind of come down like that. Okay, and then you can put a topper on your cupcake. So I'll put a cherry. And then you want to give it two lines so it's sitting on a type of surface. Okay, so that's the basic drawing. Now you want to add some value. So we are going to go directly with some chalk here, okay? Alright, now the chalk's a little messy. I know this. We're just going to have to make it work. So I'm going to start with this part, the wrapper of my cupcake. So you want to pick out the color that you want for that. Alright, so I think I'm going to do like this turquoise kind of color. And you want to give it an outline. Alright, and also draw the lines that you would see on the wrapper. So they're a little diagonal on this side, then they will become straight, then they will go a little diagonal towards the other side. Diagonal means slanted. Alright, so I'm going to need this, and we're going to need some white, because I want to add value here. So, you guys can kind of just watch me as I work. I'm going to give some of these a little more color than I'm going to give others. You have to determine what side you want the light coming in. Do you want the light coming in this way, or do you want the light coming in this way? So, I want the light coming in this way, which means I'm going to give more emphasis to this side with my chalk. This side I'm going to not work as hard because I want the black paper to come through. The black is what is showing the dark value. So it's usually opposite. Usually when we want something to be dark, we shade it in dark with like our pencils. This is opposite. It's already dark. So we have to do extra work to make it lighter. Alright, so to make it lighter, voila, you have a white chalk. So I'm going to give these ripples little highlights. Okay, now as I go on, I'm not going to press down as hard. I want them to fade. And I'm also going to give some of the zigzag highlights. But again, once it starts getting into the shadow, I want it to fade. So I don't want it as bright. So to make it brighter, I press harder. Obviously, I don't press as hard over here. Okay, and then the cool thing about chalk is you can blend it. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little more white over here. But I want to leave a little black in between as well, because those ripples have their own shadows. And I'm going to use my pinky finger to soften these lines. Okay, now if it gets a little smudgy and messy, I'll just take my big eraser, clean it up. Chalk's messy, it's part of the deal. Okay, now determine what color you want to do for your icing. So maybe I will do pink. And same thing with this. So we're going to give more emphasis to the left side because that's where the light is coming. So I'm going to shade in, color in, more on this side than I will on this side. So I will lighten it up. Alright, now I'm leaving a little black line here just so you can see like the swirls in the icing. And now I will add white. So notice how this isn't perfect. I'm just kind of going with it because it will look nice once I blend it with my finger. So I just layer it right now. Okay, now I take my finger, and since this finger has the turquoise all over it, I'm going to choose a new finger so the colors don't blend. Okay, now every time I work with chalk, there's going to be a lot of dust. So I just tap that onto the table, and then at the end we wipe that up with the sponge. Do not blow it because you don't want to breathe in dust. It's not healthy for you. Okay, so I like to kind of do it in a few layers until I get it the way I want it. Now you don't want to overblend, so once it's starting to look good, just let it be, okay? You don't want to get it too overworked. You want to let it live. Let it live. Okay, so maybe I'll just give like a nice final touch with the white. There we go. Okay. And next I will do the cherry. So I'm going to, again, focus more on this side, and then I'll let it soften up once I get to this side. And then for the cherry, I'm going to give it a nice strong highlight. I'm not going to blend that. Just going to leave that be. And I'll blend that up there. Because cherries usually have that really, really nice shine to them, okay? Alright, so now I'm just going to go back and make this work a little more the way I want it to. Don't stop till you're proud. That's what I'm doing right here. Now I got a little too much chalk in there, so I'm going to use my eraser to clean that up. These erasers will work if it's little bits that you have missed, but if there's like a whole chunk you want to erase, that's not going to work. Alright, so you got to know that before beginning. Alright, so now we can begin making the background. So you want to determine what color you want to do for your tabletop and a color for the behind. Alright, now don't rush through the background. The background's still going to matter. It's going to give your piece life. Okay. So pick a color, and I'm going to use the side of my chalk, and I'm going to do just kind of very energetic strokes with mine. If you want yours to be more neat and crisp, then you do it that way. Don't get part of the background into the cupcake. And for the background, you don't need to blend unless you want to, but again, don't overblend because then it just looks messy. Alright, now for the bottom part, I want to add value to this part as well. So first I'm going to give it a base coat. And I'm going to add a little cast shadow over on this side. And I'm going to add just a little bit of white over here. Because the cupcake, the light is shining this way, so on the table, it would make sense if the light is also shining this way. So I will layer the white on top. Now it doesn't need to be everywhere, just kind of over here. And then let it fade. Okay, and then I'll soften it a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy here, because I kind of like the rough look for the background. Alright, so I'm just going back in and I'm adding things that might have gotten a little lost as I worked, taking those final steps. But other than that, there you go. Now you have a still life of a cupcake using chalk pastel on black paper.